Fallen angels from the Book of Enoch. Antarctica holds the fallen beings of old. Imprisoned ancient aliens supposedly are still living underground. Recent research shows. Antarctica holds the imprisoned alien fallen beings of old. These abominable entities are still alive underground in Antarctica. On March 14th, Israeli News Live published a provocative story titled, "The Fallen Angels Imprisoned in Antarctica Are Still Alive." The commentator Steve Ben-Nun analyzed the apocryphal book of Enoch, which describes the experiences of Enoch, a pre-Diluvian biblical figure who was taken into the heavens without dying. He was taken into the heavens to witness and play a key role in a major celestial conflict. There are intriguing parallels between Ben-Nun's analysis of the Book of Enoch and the recent disclosures of secret space program whistleblower Corey Goode concerning Antarctica. Antarctica, the imprisoned fallen angels from the Book of Enoch. Enoch became the principal intermediary between two sides of the conflict between the fallen angels and the righteous angels, serving an all-knowing deity referred to as the Lord God. There were multiple issues in the conflict, such as fallen angels interbreeding and or performing genetic experiments with humans and passing on forbidden knowledge, that is, advanced technologies that the humans should not have had because they would have used them in the wrong way and probably blown each other up as well as the planet. So they were passing on forbidden knowledge and technologies to the still developing infantile human civilization. The Book of Enoch begins with the arrival of 200 fallen angels in an area of Israel called Mount Hermon, which borders modern-day Libya and Syria. These fallen angels began interbreeding and or genetically modifying the local residents, the local inhabitants. In chapter 6:1 says, this is chapter 6, starting chapter 6 from the Book of Enoch, of course. "It came to pass, when the sons of man had increased, that in those days there were born to them fair and beautiful daughters." And chapter 6:2 says, "And the angels, the sons of heaven, saw them and desired them, and they said to one another, Come, let us choose for ourselves wives from the children of men, and let us beget for ourselves children." Chapter 6:6 says, "And they were in all 200, and they came down on Ardis, which is the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called the mountain Hermon because on it they swore and bound one another with curses." Now, while the fallen angels had established an outpost on Mount Hermon, it was Antarctica that they would be removed to ultimately after losing the heavenly battle with the righteous angels, according to Ben-Nun's analysis of the Book of Enoch. And I'll leave a link below for you for his fantastic analysis on YouTube. It's about 19 minutes. Ben-Nun cites passages from the Book of Enoch which are very suggestive of Antarctica, as indeed the location where Enoch was taken to witness various celestial events. As we continue in the Book of Enoch, chapter 18, verse 5, "And I saw the winds on the earth which support the clouds, and I saw the paths of the angels, and I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of heaven above." Chapter 18:6, "And I went towards the south, and it was burning day and night, where there were 7 mountains of precious stones, 3 towards the east and 3 towards the south." Chapter 18:7, "And those towards the east were of colored stone, and one was of pearl, and one was of healing stone, and those towards the south of red stone." Chapter 18:8, "And the middle one reached to heaven like the throne of the Lord of Stibium, and the top of the throne was of sapphire." Now, the colors of various precious stones in the Old Testament Holy Bible, especially sapphire, when we many times see how heaven is described with streets and buildings laid with precious stones, diamonds and sapphires. These are, of course, the graces of God. These are the various graces and gifts granted of God. Now, going back to the article, what's interesting in the above passage, chapter 18 of Enoch, is that Enoch refers to a location that, quote, was burning day and night, end quote. Stephen Ben-Nun believes that this fits the description of Antarctica during the southern hemisphere summer season when there is 24-hour sunlight. Now, concerning the 7 mountains, this appears to be referring to Mount Vinson in the Sentinel Range of Antarctica. This according to Ben-Nun, of course. He also refers to 6 nearby mountains in the range that might qualify as the mountains described in the Book of Enoch. Mount Vinson is the highest mountain in Antarctica and is located towards the middle of the Sentinel Range. It would have stood out just as spectacularly with its snow-capped peak in ancient times as it does today. Regarding the south and eastern alignment of the 6 adjacent mountains to Mount Vinson, as described in the Book of Enoch, Ben-Nun speculates that this was their alignment prior to the catastrophic flood event, which coincided with the shifting of Earth's axis of rotation. We can all recall the Piri Reis map of the Middle Ages that was found. It was a composite of various older maps showing that Antarctica was known to be there in the southern hemisphere, even though it was discovered in the 18th century by the modern-day man. Yes, Antarctica is known to be there, and it was also in this map of the Piri Reis map shown to be ice-free. So older maps were around that indicated that Antarctica was a landmass known to the people of the older eras, and that it was ice-free. And it could be that, of course, after the cataclysm, after the flood, that the pole shift did take place, causing changes in the continents and their temperature. This corresponds to the research conducted by Sir Charles Hapgood, who asserts that pole shifts have been a regular occurrence in Earth's history. In his book 1958, titled Earth's Shifting Crust, Hapgood proposes that a pole shift had happened at the end of the last ice age, which took place about 11,000 BC. That's 13,000 years ago. Ben-Nun's conjecture is interesting. One can see from the map showing the Sentinel Range where Mount Vinson is situated, there are far more than 7 mountains in the range. Ben-Nun's conjecture is not conclusive, as he himself points out, but he gives us a possible location of the imprisoned fallen angels, Mount Vinson and/or the other 6 mountains in the Sentinel Range, which are all, of course, close by to each other. Ben-Nun goes on to discuss the Book of Enoch, referring to the imprisoned fallen angels that were removed from Mount Hermon of the Holy Land to Antarctica, Mount Vinson, the Sentinel Range. The Book of Enoch, chapter 18, again we continue. 18:14. And like the Spirit questioned me, the angel said, This is the place of the end of heaven and earth. This is the prison for the stars of heaven and the hosts of heaven. 18:5. And the stars which roll over the fire, these are the ones which transgressed the command of the Lord from the beginning of their rising, because they did not come out at their proper times. 18:16. And he was angry with them and bound them until the end of the consummation of their sin in the year of majesty. Year of majesty in capitals. Ben-Nun refers to the fallen angels still being alive in their Antarctica prisons underground, raising an intriguing possibility. The Book of Enoch describes a future of the year of mystery, quote unquote, when they are liberated. Is this an event that will shortly take place, that we will witness? The liberating of the fallen angels, the demonic spirits? For an answer, you can begin to analyze some intriguing parallels between Ben-Nun's analysis and the Book of Enoch. The recently disclosed secret space program whistleblower Corey Goode concerning Antarctica, like the pre-Diluvian biblical figure Enoch, Goode says He has also been taken to witness celestial events by a recently arrived group of heavenly, highly evolved extraterrestrials called the, quote, Sphere Being Alliance, end quote. And like Enoch, Good has also been asked to act as an intermediary for both sides in a heavenly or solar system-wide conflict. Good said that in the beginning, this began in March 2015 when he accepted the role as a delegate for the Sphere Being Alliance in ongoing negotiations between different factions and groups from both Earth and off-world civilizations. Good said that he's been taken to Antarctica twice to witness events there, most recent in January 2017, when he viewed the remains of a pre-Adamite civilization that had flourished until a major global catastrophe, something like corresponding with the Great Flood, destroyed coastal cities and low-lying land all over the world. This having taken place about 12 to 13,000 years ago. Good says that the pre-Adamites survived by entering the stasis chambers in the largest of 3-mile-long motherships that crash-landed on Earth around 60,000 years ago, after the pre-Adamites were expelled from the moon due to a conflict with the dominant extraterrestrial factions there. Yes, this concerns the fallen angels, we call Watchers in the Old Testament, Genesis, book of Genesis, the Watchers, and Antarctica. I leave links below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.